With the front end of our truggy complete, it's now time to get our centre differential bolted down, as well as the entire rear assembly. So on with kit bag K. So in this bag we have all the hardware required for mounting the central chassis braces, as well as mounting several other pieces, namely the aluminum centre drive shaft and centre differential housing. So we'll begin with the centre differential and the metal centre diff mount. Line it up on the chassis and secure in place with 3 10mm flathead screws. As we're screwing into metal, we need to use some thread lock here. And once secure, we can attach the rear chassis brace pieces, the larger piece with 2 12mm flathead screws, and the rear piece here with 2 10mm flathead screws. Reach for that centre differential that has been patiently waiting since bag A and insert the centre drive shaft between the front differential and the centre before lowering the diff into place onto its mount and covering with the top half of the diff mount. Then secure into place with 3 12mm cap head screws and 1 12mm button head screw into the top right corner, remembering to apply thread lock to the 2 front screws going into the metal diff mount. With the centre differential in place, we're ready to install the entire rear assembly, so lower it down into place, taking care to ensure the small dog bone feeds into the rear of the centre differential, before turning over to secure from the bottom. Starting from the rear, we insert 2 20mm flathead screws, followed by 2 12mm flathead screws, and finally 2 15mm flathead screws. All that's left is to finish off the rear chassis brace with these 2 pieces, which connect to each other with the only 18mm cap head screw in this kit bag, before lowering into place from the top of the buggy, and securing with 2 12mm button head screws from above and into the rear assembly, and finally a 12mm flathead screw from the bottom. And that's it! Both front and rear assemblies installed and secured to the chassis, as well as the front and rear chassis braces and the centre differential within its housing. Much like the buggy version, the ET48 2.0, everything has come together perfectly without any problems at all. We need to move on to building our shocks with the next 2 kit bags, which we need to build from scratch too. So let's move on to the next step, with bags L and M.